Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Philanthropic February, day 24. I'm Nicolette, this is Stitches and Slapdashery, and I'm back in the sewing room, of course. I just made a little card to go in with Mandy's earrings, our giveaway winner. I won't show you that, because she needs to see it first. But I used one of the prints that I made with my Speedball block printing inks and my gel plate. So that was rather fun to actually turn something that I'd made into a card. I've got a few more things out. You might remember, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I showed you I had saved these wires from a calendar. I've got a few things out here like glue and Mod Podge and paper and clay, because I was thinking that maybe if I do make little butterflies, I could put them on the end of the wire, and then the wire could be embedded in a little air drying clay base. That's the word, base. So I'm not sure right now how that's going to look, and whether I'm going to use a template for the butterflies or I'm just going to wing it. Oh, groan, Nicola. Pun intended. Anyhow, if I decide to do something with that later today, I'll obviously show you. I started the day getting up pretty early. I was awake sufficiently early without the alarm that I thought I might as well get up, because I do have to go to work at 1 o'clock. And so the earlier I get up, the more fun I can have at home before I go. I made a refrigerator soup this morning, which I did film. And if I've decided to use that footage, I'll have put it in either at the beginning or I'll be putting it in after this. No recipe. I just like to riffle through the refrigerator to see what needs using. I had some Taiwanese cabbage, a couple of sweet potatoes, a pepper that had a little icky bit on it. I have some onions, and obviously always got canned tomatoes and tomato paste in the cupboard. And if you've seen the footage either before or after this, you'll see I tip in something out of like a Tupperware type container. That was canned pumpkin, because I had opened it to make pumpkin cupcakes last week, and it does tend to go off pretty quick, so you have to use it up ASAP. So I've tipped that into the soup, and also red lentils. What else did I put in? Oh yeah, and some chipotles in adobo sauce, because they're my new favorite thing. So I thought I would just put it in my big cast iron pan and leave it for, say, an hour to simmer. Once the alarm goes off, I'll go and, or the timer goes off, I'll go and poke the sweet potatoes and make sure they're done, because those are going to be the slowest cooking things. But I think it'll taste all right. I'll do a quick taste test before I go off to work. And then whenever the family gets home and wants to eat, they can help themselves and throw some toast in the toaster to go with it or something. Some extra greens would have been nice, but I don't have anything. Not even spinach. Normally we have spinach in the fridge all the time because middle son makes smoothies every day, but I need to go shopping. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. I have a morning shift tomorrow, so I will definitely go to the supermarket tomorrow afternoon. It's overdue. I have a lot of pantry staples. We have massive bags of things like oats and beans and lentils, and flats of, like Costco size flats of tomato cans and things like that. But it's the fresh produce that runs out, and then we have to go and top that up. So enough about food. I'm going to do a little bit more slow stitching and mull the butterfly on wires idea. as I did yesterday, I have a line of blue friction pen to follow, just to help me navigate my leaves and circles. That soup is actually smelling quite nice from upstairs in the kitchen. Going to have to do quite a bit of trimming of little frayed bits at some point. Oops, sorry, not the camera. Where did my line go? Oh yeah, like I said yesterday, the heat from my thumb sometimes takes the line away, and then I get lost. This little scrap here, you'll see there's a line of holes. I noticed when I was placing those scraps on the batting on the first day that some of the scraps looked like they'd already been sewn through. So I might have to do something about that, like sew over it or something, so that it's not visible in the final results. That's a thick bit right there. I just had to run upstairs and switch off the heat under the soup. It had an hour. That's going to be fine. I've left it just sit on the hot plate even though it's off, just to finish cooling down naturally. Oh boy, why are we all caught up on here? I finally did a little bit of yoga today. I was a little concerned about how the weight training was going to treat my shoulders. I've had a little bit of a sore shoulder on the left side lately, so decided it wouldn't hurt to start doing yoga again. I have a mat in the bedroom and a mat in the living room. And it's the sort of thing you can even do just while watching a show or something. You don't even have to be following a yoga video, because I know all the moves, or enough of the moves now, to enjoy some good stretching without a tutorial of any kind. For a long time, a few years ago, I was doing it every single day. And I got out of the habit. Oops, where am I going? Right there. It's funny how you can do something every day for a year and still fall out of the habit, even though you enjoy it and you enjoy the benefits of it. Just going to give you a little close-up of what I did after I finished my green lines. I did 4 meandering lines each way in the darker green, and then I gave it a touch with the iron just to get rid of my friction pen lines, and then I did 18 little French knots on one of my pink circles. So as you can imagine, doing that on all of my pink circles could take a while. So I'm going to put that aside for now. I do have to be aware of the time. I'm going to need to grab a bite to eat before I go to work, put my contact lenses in, brush my teeth, all that sort of thing. So I can't be going on too late. I'm going to give that butterfly idea a bit more thought. I'm back. Work is over, dinner is over. That soup was very good. And now I'm back here wanting to work on the butterfly idea. But first, a couple of little fun things. When I'm at work and I'm on the till, I get to deal with a bunch of damaged things. So usually we write them off on the handsets that we have, because it's connected to the whole computer system. And so we write them off, and then if they are still saleable, we'll mark them down, put a sticker on them, and put them in a bin to go back on a shelf in the clearance aisle. Well, I saw something earlier that made me smile. You'll know why I like it when you see what it is. This is a rather lovely unfinished clay mushroom birdhouse, and it has a broken part right here. So it was a lot worse than that before. I have actually added a little bit of just school glue because I don't really have anything that's particularly meant for ceramic. But I asked the manager and I said, is this good enough to mark down as is and stay on the shelf for sale? And she said, no, it's got a jagged piece. Just write it off. And I was like, oh, okay, can I take it home? And she was like, she sort of indirectly said it was okay. So when I put my finger up inside there, I could push the little piece there that was sinking in up a bit, and I put a bunch of glue around there, all the way around the crack there, and then wiped off the excess. So I'm hoping that's going to pretty much look invisible by the time it's dry and I've painted it. So I see it has kind of texture there, which looks like grass, and it's got some bumps on the top. It might be looking too light for the camera and the ring light right now. I don't know. But I will be getting my acrylic paints out for that tomorrow, having a bit of fun with it. I'm looking forward to that. I'll wait till it completely dries. The other exciting thing is that a few months ago, I noticed there were a couple of big rolls of quilt batting in the warehouse. And they had a really, really nasty, mucky looking package, like they had been sitting on a truck in a rusty puddle. And so they were put aside in the corner. And at the time I was like to my boss, I said, so what's happening with those rolls of quilt batting? Because I'm interested. And then I just let it go and I forgot about it. Well, today she said I could have them for cheap. So, of course, I brought both of them home. I gave them a good home. I adopted these rolls of quilt batting. It is Philanthropic February after all, so I did my good deed for the day. So that is 40 yards or about 36 meters of batting that just made its way into my sewing room, and I'm very, very pleased. And the rusty stuff is just on the outside. I'm pretty sure the batting inside is fine. Even if it did have a little bit of stuff on it, the majority of it's going to be fine. So I'm, yeah, very happy about that. All right, I have a mat here for any sort of messy stuff. I have cut out a couple of little wing templates for a butterfly. I'm not sure if that's going to look good, but we'll see. I have this pad of paper here, which I got from Value Village thrift store a long time ago, and I've still got most of it left. But look at that. I mean, that even looks like a butterfly's wing to me, that pattern. And it's got some lovely prints in it. It's called a mixed effect pad, and it's got different weights of paper, different colors, very, very different patterns. It's a really weird mixture of stuff. So I'm going to not go with the idea of tearing paper, but cut it, because I think that'll probably look better in the long run. So I have my little bits of wire. I have my wire cutters. Where'd the other one go? There it is. Can't see it without my glasses on. I have my scissors, which cut a decal edge, which I got for 75 cents from the Salvation Army. Glue stick. Don't think I'm going to need the Mod Podge, but anyway. All right, we're going to switch to the overhead, and we'll see how it goes. Isn't there such a pretty placemat? Honestly, I just love it. I feel like I should have just bought a ton of them just to use as actual placemats instead of cutting them up for templates. But it does make a good surface. If you look at the other side, you'll see, yeah, I was using that for block printing the other day. Great for keeping the surface clean. So what my thought was that with these little bits of cardboard that I've cut out, that I would cut them on the fold. I'll just flick through this again so that you can get an idea. So there's some plain stuff, plain shiny stuff, and weird wacky stuff, that sort of thing that looks like butterfly wings. So let me grab one of those right now. And then the watery looking one. Oh, there's actually two different ones of those. One that looks like something's been pulled through paint. Like fireworks on there. Abstract lines. This is rather fun. It looks like little bits of fabric, like a crazy quilt. That looks a bit like a 9-patch quilt with a sky background. And then this is weird, almost like vellum, I guess you call that. And something shiny and abstract again. I really need to use more of these. They're so fun. Look at that one. Crazy bright. Oh, that one, psychedelic. Yeah. So let me see. If I use this for the upper wing of the butterfly, I need something for the lower wing. This one and this one. With blue in there, and it goes with that blue, I think. So if I just fold a little bit of it, I don't need much at all. Oh, should have done it the other way. Because if I draw on that side, I'll never see it, will I? Now, which way round do I want this? Okay. Does she know what she's doing? No, she doesn't. Okay, good. I did that enough. I'm going to just draw around that and then cut it out. I will start by just making one butterfly. I haven't yet figured out how I'm going to attach the wire to the bottom or the fold of the butterfly. But either I will be attacked by a wonderful flash of inspiration, or I will fumble my way through it. One or the other. Ah, pretty. Now the question is, do I want it to be white on one side and coloured on the other? Not really. I want it to be coloured on both sides. So in that case, I'm going to have to cut another piece out of the same stuff. There's something about cutting out paper and using a glue stick. It takes you right back to your childhood. I'm pretty sure I was the sort of kid who, once they got hold of a pair of scissors, just wanted to cut everything in sight. I don't think I ever cut my own hair, though. Pretty sure I never cut my hair. There. So if I stick those together, can you see those? Yes, let's just make sure it's all centered. Kind of hard for you to see against that pretty background, isn't it? Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Rather like that print. Okay, so that's the top wings. Put that aside a minute and do the bottom set of wings. Let's draw them both while I'm at it. Oh, that came out rather nicely. I think that's going to have to go on the top of my butterfly. I should be able to just fold it up again and then they should nest in quite nicely. Oh, I like it. So let's grab a piece of this. And my snippies. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut this into 3. I want it to stay fairly wiggly because I rather like it wiggly, but not too wiggly. Okay, let's go here. And then here. Those do work well. kind of guessing on the measurements because you can't really measure them when they're that wiggly. All right, I now have 6 short pieces of wire, and I've had an idea. Let me grab my awl. This is the awl that came with my snap set, my snap pliers. Now, if I was to punch a hole through here, then the wire should be able to go through, maybe 2 holes. Okay, let's see. Is this going to be a wing it thing? I already made that joke today. Nicola, you can't make the same joke twice in a day. People are going to get tired of that. Now hang on a minute. Where do I want the overlap to go? Okay, so 1 hole through here, and then the second hole just below it. And then I will match it up by going through this wing here. Okay, so I have 1 hole in there, 2 holes in there. The bottom hole in here is going to line up with that hole. I almost sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't. So I'm going to go up through that hole. I think I'm going to go up through that hole. Okay, and then up through that hole. Aha! I'm going to have to spiral it through a little bit here. There we are. I'm going to have to get another wire tool. All right, I've got my needle nose pliers now, just in case I need to do a little bit of fine tweaking. So where was I? Right. So out this way, and then I need to somehow bend it back down through that second hole on the top wing. Ooh, that worked. And I think I'm going to have to I'm still going to have to put some glue on it because otherwise it's just going to flop about. All right, let's do something to make these join together somehow. Hopefully without ripping my paper. That's kind of pretty. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. Oh, good grief. Stuff sticking to it. There we are. So a bit of glue on the upper wing there and on that side, because otherwise they're just going to flop. Like that. Ha! I really like that. All right, now that you've seen me struggle through that one, you don't really necessarily need to see me doing the exact same thing 5 more times. So I'll come back and show you when I've made 6. Well, I'm pretty pleased with these, which was the first one I did. That one was the first one I did, I think. Excuse the scrapey noises as the wire scrapes all over the place, Matt. So that was my first one with the butterfly wing print, I'm calling it, and the watery print. And I did try one with the kind of vellum. So you get a translucent wing, which is rather lovely. And I made this one with this blobby fabric, which I loved so much that I went and made one completely with the blobby fabric at the end. which is that one. I haven't, because I didn't want to tear the paper, I was really careful when I was crimping the wire under there. So they are a little mobile, but that doesn't matter. And then the other two are this with two different colorways of that wing print or feather print, and then one with this one, which was very wacky. So that's going to be it for tonight, because it's getting late and I have to be at work in the morning. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to grab some of this Fimo air dry clay. It's just called Fimo Air. And I'll probably make some sort of base for the bottom of the wires to stick in and hold them so that they look like they're flying. I'll probably paint it too, because it's just a very, very dull color. I think actually, now is it this natural color or is it white? There's a white dot there. Yeah, it is the white. Okay, so I'll probably end up painting it. I have a little bit left here from my adventures with the mushroom building, and it feels like it's still got some flexibility in it, so hopefully that has not dried up, so I can use that first, and then I've got this as backup. And I'll probably have to do this sort of base out of Fimo and then stick the wires in while it's drying, and then I'll figure out how to paint it after that. Honestly, I crack myself up sometimes. There I did about 5 attempts at a nice little outro, got it right, and then realised I hadn't switched the camera on to record. Oh man. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much for being here with me. I'll be back tomorrow with some more playing with thread and acrylic paints, probably, and air drying clay. See you then. Bye for now.